I'll tell you what, that's as happy as you're ever going to be making a break. Now, I guess I'll backtrack. I went to the barn today, get up early today with Amy, had 4 to train fast at the farm that I want ready to go. They've been ready to go. They've been knocking at the door. I guess all of them haven't had a chance to race this week, so I wanted to make sure they got a good stiff training mile into them. And then we had 3 horses to qualify this morning. So, as you can tell, I started my video, Spitfire Overseas made a break in the last turn. I was hobbles broke. Now, I've told everybody that the ropes that we use and the pulleys we use will not break. Now, we've had snaps break, and today I looked down, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to eat my words. It looks like the rope somehow broke. I don't understand how that could happen. And then once I pulled up, it became obvious the rope didn't break. So, you have the pulley, you have the rope that goes through the pulley, but then you have to attach them to the hobble loops, right? So there's a clasp at the back of the hobble loops that you put the rope through and attach them. Well, that clasp, that synthetic, it came unstitched, came undone. There was no way to tell it was going to do that. It certainly looked fine to me. So that's what happened with Spitfire. Now, it happened in a point where I pulled up and James said, geez, he was looking pretty good. And I said, I think he was going to dust them. But I can't tell. Like Dougie's horse up, all those horses were just starting to trot. I don't know what the 3/4 was, but the half was 59-3. I was there in a minute and a fifth? At very worst, I was going a mile and 58. The way he was starting to trot, it felt to me like he was going to run them down. But again, that was at the start of my advancement. I can't really tell if he would have prolonged that all the way through the wire. I don't know. I assume he would, because I've never seen Spitfire Overseas tired a day in my life. So I suspect that's what would have happened, but it didn't. He was good at the gate. You can still tell he's a tiny bit green. And I'll get to that in a minute. Because obviously we have the PA Sire starting. We have the PA All-Stars coming up in a week and a half. I don't like the PA All-Stars. It's a lot of money, a lot of speed, and it's not a lot of money for a lot of speed. They're going to go for 25 or 30,000, and they're going to go fast. So I'm not really enamored with the idea of, and then 9 days later you have to be back at the Meadows on the other side of Pennsylvania. So theoretically, what I wanted to do with Crantini, and at the start Carter Michael Dio, because now all those paths those horses had are starting to converge, and now you're looking for 1 or 2 paths. The way Cantini raced for James, I wanted to qualify him stiff. I did, qualified him hard, and I trained him hard this morning, and he was exceptionally good. Let me finish my first thing. So Spitfire Overseas, regardless if he would have won the qualifier or been close or finished up great or what he would have done, he wasn't going to run. He didn't run until the hobbles were well broken. I felt him put the first step in. I'm like, what the hell was that? I looked down and the hobbles were broke. So, and then he made a break after that. If you watch, he put one step in, the hobbles broke, and then he ended up making a break shortly thereafter. So, being waved down. I can't drive by the barn without being waved down. So Spitfire Overseas was very, very good. Now, this brings me to my next issue. What next? I don't have the confidence they're going to fill the maiden next week, so maybe what we'll do, maybe we'll take him over to Pennsylvania and see how they like him in that series. Now, I don't want to waste starts, and the purse is only $8,000, but we have 2 other paths next week. We have that, which is the path of the very least resistance, stress-wise. As I mean, I know that Austral Hanover was good, but if Austral Hanover can beat Spitfire Overseas, the world is upside down. And that's taking nothing away from Austral, but he is not as good as Spitfire Overseas. We can take him to Pennsylvania. We can go to the PA All-Stars. Now, here's the problem I have, is that he's still learning. You can feel in the mile, he's looking at things. He's starting, he's stopping, he's starting, he's stopping, where Crantini feels like he just wants to kill someone right now. In a good way, if there's such a thing. And the third option is a maiden here at Mohawk, but I don't know if it's going to fill. So what happens is, if we forego the series, I guess that's not completely accurate, because I believe the Colts go on Friday, They do. They go on Friday of this week, and I believe they draw Tuesday. So I'll have to check into this. So we had some issues today. The issue is, obviously, these past one. I'll get to the other ones in a minute. Spitfire Overseas, as it stands right now, will likely end up at the Meadows next week. I don't want to go to the PA All-Stars. I don't need to drop the hammer on him. He just doesn't feel, he feels like he's a week or so away from really having the confidence to come forward. And then Mohawk, I'm not confident they'll fill. So in a perfect world, I believe what we could do is enter him at Mohawk with the intent, full intent to ship him if we need to. Enter him at Mohawk. Then if he doesn't get in at Mohawk on Thursday, enter him at the Meadows, because I'll be there Friday at the Meadows. I think those are the two. The PA All-Stars is, I'd rather not. So, Landing Pad's break was a little unorthodox. He's been very good of late. He's very quiet at the gate now. Still a little scrambly. Yeah, he's touching himself, but that break halfway down the backstretch, that kind of caught me off guard. I didn't think he'd do that. Not the way he's been training. So I was a little bit surprised with the break with Landing Pad. We'll come back next week. He hates when the hobbles bite him, and I hate the belly band hobbles, but I believe this guy, I've said this with a number of horses, and it hasn't always worked out, but it will one of these times. I believe that Landing Pad may need the belly band hobbles. So I think we'll train him here Wednesday in the belly band hobbles to see how he feels, but I think he'll be good. And then after that, we'll put him into qualify Saturday. So that's the second one. Marshall Zukov qualified well. I know my dad was happy. Hit his knee, cut his knee. So we're going to have to clean that up and cool it out. Anytime you see the blood coming down, you know that there's a number of veins there. You might have picked a vein, which means it probably swelled a little bit. He's lucky that it actually did cut. You'll know what I'm talking about if you're a horseman. If a horse hits their knee and it doesn't cut, that blood kind of pools and it becomes a real problem. It ends up with a knob in their knee that it's really tough to get down. Whereas if they cut it and it bleeds, usually as that cut heals up, it heals up tight. So Marshall Zukov be fine. I didn't see him hit the knee, so he didn't hit it bad, but he did draw blood. But the qualifier was quality for him. Still got to learn to go over those shadows. I want to round them today, but I'm going to ask Mario to bring him over and let him see the shadows all week at Mohawk. Now, I guess if we rewind now to the trainers today, I was thoroughly pleased with a lot of horses. Brace for Landing, I trained him here in the jog cart in 2.8. He was very, very good. Off a mile and a half, he was very strong, and I could tell by the time we finished up and pulled up and jogged back, he needed that training trip. They all did today. They all needed a pretty strong training trip today. And then next we went to Horn Player. Horn Player was awesome, and I mean awesome. 2.5 with her. Now this track's a little short, but I was in the jog cart. These horses, that's a big mile for these horses. None of them are like gasping when they come in. It was just a good, solid, stiff workout for these horses. Horn Player was awesome. Brace for Landing was awesome. I trained Crantini in 2.3 out here in the jog cart. Now, this is one horse. I guess I'll end with him. I don't want to end with him. Who's the other one? I trained Cunning Connie in 2.3 in the race bike. She goes to Sarnia. I know a lot of people are, where's Connie? Where's this one? Where's that one? We're trying to get them all raced, but there's no point racing them if they can't do. I was a little pissed off. I put Olczek in last night. 55 last quarter, 27, but chased horses the whole way. Not really what I want to see. That's on me. That's my fault. But I didn't want to enter a Rosita's Road or Cunning Connie in a straight maiden. No, not at all, especially when next Saturday is her first grassroots. So I just opted to train her hard today in the race bike by herself. She was very good. 2.3 last half, 1.1 last quarter, and 30 in a piece. Very good mile for Cunning Connie. And as I said, I wanted to end with Crantini was excellent. This is a horse that I feel is screwed down tight now. And I say that all the time. When I mean it, I'm referring to his metaphorical bolts. I think he's dialed in. He wasn't throwing his head, and he was raging with speed and power today. Very, very impressed with Crantini. I think that this is a horse. We can send this horse to Megan and Scott. I'll call Scott today and race him in the PA All-Stars. Even if they go for 30, this is a horse I think is ready to tackle any type of colt right now. I believe he is, unless we run into a freak or two. But Crantini is a very, very good horse. I think we're going to ship him out, and he'll go to Scott and race with Scott and Megan in the Poconos, I believe, is where the PA All-Stars are on July the 4th, which is 9 days away. I'll reach out to Scott today. I'll reach out to Doyle today. But that's where I believe Crantini is going. Spitfire Overseas, we're going to give him a little softer grouping, I believe. And that's not to say it's a cakewalk. They went in 57 or 58, 57, one of those. Well, I was going to go in 57 apiece today, at very worst. 57 apiece. So Spitfire Overseas will head that way. Now, the other colts, Carter Michael Dio, James has asked me to keep him here. I'll oblige him for now. And Brace for Landing is definitely staying here. Enzo, the liver counts on both Smoking Hot Irish Girl and Enzo were very high. We've started them on medication. Enzo trained good here today, but did not train fast. Maybe I'm going to take his blood on Monday. If his liver counts come down enough to where it's at high normal, I'll maybe school him on Tuesday and make a decision with him shortly thereafter. So that's where we're at with most of the horses that went today. Rest assured, everybody else trained today. I know Johnny trained Surf Strong. I saw Carter Michael Dio train. Rosita's Dream I saw train. We have Mo Power Baby and Rosita's Dream going to the vet on Monday because they're going out to their respective divisions very soon. I wanted to get GJ's ATM back today. I'll get him back tomorrow, and we'll begin working on him also. I would like to send Rosita's Dream and GJ's ATM out to Illinois. Let's see, the 4th is Monday. That makes the 8th Friday, the 8th. That's when their first stake race is. Either way, Rosita's Dream and GJ's ATM will be going to Illinois. Now, it's been a chore to find the proper trainer for us. Now, I left it in charge of John Walsh, who's the manager out there, who's one of our partners on a couple of these horses. He said, Eaton, Jim Eaton, John Eaton. I have the guy's number here. I'll give him a call. Talked to a couple of other clients out there that said that he's a pretty solid guy, had horses for a long time, a good colt guy. So I'm going to talk to Mr. Eaton today and see if he has the ability to take those two colts on. I'd like to go out to race them on the 8th. We'll see what happens thereafter. So right now it's 12:24. It's a scorcher, 32 degrees Celsius. A beautiful day here in Ontario, Canada. As I said, today's trip was a go-around for Landing Pad. A little disappointed he run, but I think we're very close to having him perfect. And he wasn't bad. He's been in 2-1. And then the other horse was fantastic, and that was Spitfire. Made a break. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Talk to you soon. Hope you're having a great day. All your videos coming up this weekend. Take care.